Joint so fresh, you gotta Shazam it.
Coming through loud and clear.
It's Power 102 Jam.
It's our perspective. When perception comes to truth, respecting you won't lose. Right or wrong, it's what you choose. Perspective. It's just the point of view, the odds and the outcome based on how you move. It's our perspective. When perception trumps the truth, respecting you won't lose. Right or wrong, it's what you choose. Perspective. It's just the point of view, the odds and the outcome based on how you move. The odds and the outcome based on how you move. Greetings. Mo Fizzy said the odds and the outcome based on how you move. Not how they move, but how you move.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Perspective217. We back in this building. Well, two different buildings, but we still back in the building. Coming to give y'all a little bit of information and views from our perspective. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off like we normally did. Kel, how's it been? I don't even know how many weeks, days, whatever.
Let's see. It's been a few minutes there, brother. It's been a few minutes. But, God willing, man, we're here. Even though we're in two different locations, after COVID, still alive and well, here to talk about it, what I'm saying, and be able to to maneuver, man, through all the trials and tribulations of life, man. So, growing, we got college kids, we got middle school kids, got elementary school kids, man. So, we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the show, man. But everything is good, man. Thanks for all the, the prayers and the texts and the calls, man, for, for my situation, whatever. So I'm here and blessed. Like I said, man, 10 toes down. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. Well, everything been going well, man. You know what I mean? Since we last got on there, we've had a lot of stuff occur. I didn't jumped into a new career interest. I almost couldn't say the word. And that's kind of moving forward. I got a meeting with a very important meeting coming up on the 6th in reference to that career endeavor. I actually get to go to Wichita this coming Saturday to put a little put a little work in. I'm gonna drop in on old Mofat and Young C, and see a couple other family members while I'm there, and then I'm gonna shoot on back because it's Labor Day weekend, right?
Labor Day weekend, man. Labor Day weekend, which is it's a holiday, man, that is highly celebrated. That could be a great thing as well as a bad thing, because of course, here at the Perspective, man, we talk about all things. So of course, when we highlight the good, we speak about the bad too. So everybody be safe, of course, over the holiday, man, but enjoy yourselves. But definitely, be safe.
Yes, sir. So, Kel, we're gonna jump on into it, man. Like you always, the hours still go by fast,
right? Man. Remember, we started this thing off with a 2-hour show, man, and that was probably 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, man, and we run through them 2 hours. I guess not. So this hours really be quick. So let's get to it.
Hour feel like 15 minutes, man. So, I want to kind of talk about a couple things, couple of the hot topics that's been occurring recently. First of it, NFL football season jumps off, man. This coming Thursday, right? Yep, this is coming Thursday, man. We got them Kansas City Chief boys facing off against them Detroit Lions. What you think? What you think about that game so far? I mean, coming forward, and it's football season again, baby.
Yeah, man, which is fantastic because now don't get me wrong. I'm a sports fan, and I like to watch most of sports, but come on, man. I can only take golf so much. I can only take NASCAR so much. I can only take tennis so much. So I'm very excited, man, to get into the NFL season that's going to kick off here, man. My predictions, of course, on this particular kickoff day, the Chiefs in Detroit. I mean, we're talking about two tiers. We got the Kansas City Chiefs that are returning as the Super Bowl champions, defending champions, and then you got the Detroit Lions who are kind of in that rebuild stage. But I mean, Detroit finished the season last year, man, very competitive. So we'll see, man. If I was a bet man, which I'm not, I'm not a bet man. We're not taking no bets today, but I would definitely say Chiefs for the win on this one.
I'm with you on that, man. I think that Detroit's going to put up a good fight just because they got a few new pieces that they added during the offseason, and I think they're going to be instrumental in their team progress. The Chiefs, though, just kind of, I mean, they're the bullies of the schoolyard right now, right? You know what I mean? They just, it don't matter what you throw at them, man. And them jokers just keep fighting back and seem like they have the upper hand. But I do also think that the Chiefs are going to win this game, man. Looking way down, a few months down the road, who you think will be in the championship game this year?
I mean, you got to go with the defending champs. I mean, I don't see anybody who's going to, I think it's going to be a rematch of last year, man. Honestly, Philly and KC. Can Buffalo squeeze in there somewhere, depending on how healthy they are? But if you got a healthy Pat Mahomes, man, it's kind of like the plug and play situation where, even though they lost, some key receivers, that man is just durable, man. He's just that dude, man. So, but don't sleep on Jalen Hurts, man. He is that dude too, man. And they paid him very handsomely to be that dude as well. So,
right.
So typically, once you get that bag, man, you get that heavy bag. I mean, this is like a 2-hand over the shoulder bag, duffel bag, where you gotta put some oomph into this thing when you carry it. For what Jalen Hurts just received. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I think me personally, I think it's going to be a KC Philly rematch, though.
Man, I'm intrigued about Baltimore, man. I think Baltimore, with the addition of Odell Beckham. Now I know he's not the same Odell Beckham of young, but Odell Beckham, man, he's an asset, and Baltimore was right there. I mean, as long as what was his name? Was the Baltimore quarterback? My mind just went blank.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. As long as he stays healthy, man, I think they got a chance.
Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on Baltimore, man. Shout out to Kyle Hamilton, Derek Hamilton, man. That's our family, man, from Notre Dame. So, definitely got to keep an eye on Baltimore, man. You got another big bag, that was dropped off to Lamar. So this is Lamar's year to come back and show improve. And then you got, of course, in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, even though all the off the field antics and stuff like that with those allegations. But now he's now back fully this year too. So it should be a good season, man. It should definitely be a good season.
Absolutely, man. My Bears, man, they're gonna be fighting. I don't think they just got enough yet to make it to that ship right now. I think we got a chance, always a chance, because as long as you live to fight another day on another Sunday, then you could potentially win that game. But I think we got a couple more pieces that we're missing, right? That we need to add into.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to go to a preseason game, man. Bears down at Soldier Field, man, and Justin Field. He only played a series though, but they look good in that game. I mean, it was against Tennessee,
right?
But still, you got to protect Justin Fields, man, because he's one of those dynamic young players, man. So if they get an O line, man, we've been saying this probably for the last 2 years, to get an O line to protect them. They got some pieces, man.
You got some pieces. Yeah.
They got some pieces that can. We'll see how that goes.
So on another one of our kind of things that we want to talk about, man, is kind of back to school right now. You know what I mean? Before you can get into the NFL, which we just kind of spoke on, you got to go to that higher learning institution, right? You know, and you can't, you know, it ain't like the NBA where you can do 1 year and then go out. You know what I mean? You got to put a couple years in on the football side. So we've had a lot of, you got personal experience right now with some young ones going off to school. How was that process now post COVID?
Interesting, man. It's you would think after COVID, things would kind of be a little bit more streamlined, but you know, it's still kind of like a work of progress. Even though like last year was kind of the first official, you know, hey, we're back in the swing of things.
Right.
This is second year, so it should be a little bit more easier. But I don't know, man. You know, it's one of those things, man. When when you're talking about you know, getting through the summer and, you know, vacationing and extracurricular activities as far as, you know, sports or traveling or whatever you're doing individually with the family, then, you know, trying to get back into a school regimen is always a change of pace. And so as much time as you think that happens over the summer, you know, that the faculty and administration of the school system or the board of the school would be able to have things in line. Doesn't always work that way, and we understand because there's always changing parts. So, you know, but it's kind of a big thing, and, you know, especially when you have kind of the younger kids that, you know, that kind of rely a little bit more heavier on the school as far as, you know, transportation and getting to and from and after school programs, stuff like that. So it gets kind of pretty complicated sometimes, you know, when it comes to certain things being lined up when they should be, when in actuality they don't. So, but so far, man, 2 weeks in, you know, things have been kind of you know, kind of play it by ear. You know, we try to figure out, okay, what's going to happen for this week, because, you know, depending on the school, you know, they just came through the nation really just came through this kind of triple digit weather, when, you know, you're looking at 100 plus degrees, you know, from the top to the bottom, man. And so that really kind of put a pinch on these school systems, especially, you know, the ones that have, you know, older buildings, man, that are not equipped with those, you know, those 100-degree days, man, where they don't have any air conditioning. So what do they have to do? And they got to let the kids out because, hey, you get into school, man, you're gonna be in a microwave. And then on top of that, if they don't have ACs in the buses, now you got a mobile microwave that you got to put these kids in. So so here locally, man, they didn't really want to risk that. So, you know, so the youth had a day or two off because of the fact that the heat was such a threat, man.
Have you? I heard about that they weren't doing that out here. It was hot, and they were going to school.
So you gonna go to school? Huh?
Yeah, but we had like same bus issues, right? You know what I mean? It wasn't enough bus drivers to be able to fulfill picking up all the routes that they had, right? So they were asking the parents or guardians to get their child to school, right, on the lower level, right, on the primary education level instead of the secondary level. And you know, I mean, it was, we don't, of course, we're not really doing the homeschool anymore like that. So they're spending a lot of time in the classroom. Now they did delay some football games because of the heat, right? They were supposed to start at like 7. They moved it back to 8, which kind of pushed everything else back, right? So that was really the only thing that was kind of affected out here. I mean, we was like, man, averaging, man, shoot, 104. Like it was ranging between 106 and 102. And it was like that for like, man, 14 to 16 days. It was crazy.
But there's no global warming. Proceed though.
Right. You know what I mean? But the heat, you know, it's not stopping none of the gun violence though, man. It seems like we're
here, I don't know what has happened there because I don't really keep up with that region much anymore, right? But we've had a lot of like just gun violence. After we take this first break here in a few minutes, I want to talk about like the shootings at the schools, man. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better.
Mm-hmm.
But what we'll do now is we'll take a short little break. We're gonna let y'all see our little face screen, and then we'll be back at y'all in a hot minute.
Stay tuned. Perspective217.
I'm trying to phase out the noise seems so loud in the background. Yeah, I'm trying to phase out. Boy. The noise seems so loud.
We back. The noise.
Yes, sir. My check, man. Classic music, man. Black Jackson there. You know, for those who've been following us, they definitely know about our family Black Jackson, man. The artist there singing on that, the noise. Hey, which kind of leads me to this, man. I know we were talking something before the break, man, but how do you feel about this, man, being 50 years of hip hop, man? 50 years, right? Where, you know, this genre that started off in somebody's basement, man, with the record player, man, and it is transformed into this global phenomenon, man, that's so cultural driven, man, globally. What's your feelings about that, man? 50 years of hip hop, man. When I say hip hop, 50 years, like who are some of the people or the artists that comes into your mind right off top?
50 years of hip hop, man. So some of the most iconic ones that come to my mind would be LL, right? Let me see. Some of them that's gone, of course, you know, you have Biggie and Tupac and Biz Markie, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's so many layers of it. You know, DOS Effects, right? EPMD. Bro, it's so many different ones that Kumo D, man.
How about this?
Rick.
I'm gonna take you back, bro. What was your first cassette tape?
Oh my God. No.
Rap cassette tape.
Yeah, because my first one was probably some of that love mess.
Now, mind you, I said cassette tape. So
yeah,
for our listeners and viewers, that's talking about. Wait, you mean MP3 or J? No. We're talking about an actual cassette tape. You know, the ones where you had the two rolls, and like when it got all scrunched up, you know, you had to kind of go in with the pencil and kind of straighten it out and even it out, and then kind of whirl it back in around the circle. You know, we're talking about cassette tapes. We're not talking about like the. You know, our parents had the what were those the 8-tracks, you know, where they slide the boys in like the Nintendo cartridge.
Right, like Nintendo cartridge, right.
We had the cassette tapes from the jump, you know,
where you had to put tape on the little notches that you knock
correct. If you want to tape over,
right.
Do you remember the first cassette tape that you ever purchased or ever listened to?
I do. It just came to me. I had to sit and think back, man, because it was a while ago. The first actual cassette tape that I had that was hip hop was Dana Dane.
Mm.
The nightmare on my street, day to day, right?
Classic.
That was
Classic.
that was what the first one I had. And I think we transitioned like over into Top Authority and then Magic Mike, you know what I mean? Because the sounds, but that was a little further along because I Need Love was somewhere in there, and my radio with L. I mean, so it was just. But I think Dana Dang was my first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, man, my first one was Run DMC. I remember it, man, like yesterday, man. Got that tape, man, and it used to come in like the little cardboard cover, man, when you kind of slide it out.
Slide
and
it
you had the actual cassette tape player, right? We're not talking about,
we ain't talking about the beatbox.
We ain't talking about. Well, I mean, it emerged into the beatbox, but before that, it was just kind of like the one that you push
it looked like a.
Yeah, it was just like the little sleeve that you put the tape in, you just close it, right? And then you hit play on it. So, but I remember, man, Run DMC, I got that. I don't know if it was My Adidas, I think it was, or something like that. But I played that song, man, probably a million times. But thinking about this now, man, like I said, 50 years later, man, of hip hop, and it started in New York. And here's the beautiful thing about hip hop, because for one, they were just saying that this rap music wasn't going to last. This was just going to be a fad, and it wasn't going to do anything. And then it went from New York, and then it just spread all over, to the Midwest, to the South, and then the West Coast. And now it's global because now it's everywhere. Any other country, man. And so some of my artists, who I still listen to this day, man, as being fans, is I've always been kind of an East Coast ear listener. You know what I'm saying? I always like Wu-Tang, Nas, and I mean, Big L, Big Pun. He was coke crack back then. You know what I'm saying? He was a lot heavier. Big Pun. Raekwon, like you said, Das Effects
was alive.
Outkast, Scarface, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Well, you gotta say NWA.
Gotta say NWA, man. You can't say the West Coast without NWA, man. So even that, man, just that's how instrumental hip hop is. The music, the culture, man, and people don't really understand because they hear it's like, oh yeah, that's that rap song, but to really understand the essence of hip hop is the pillars of it, being the DJs, the b-boys, or the break dancers, the graffiti artists, you know what I'm saying, and then the MCs, you know what I'm saying, and so growing up having hip hop instilled in myself personally, man, it's been a complete blessing, man, to kind of see where it went from its beginning stages to what it's evolved to now. I know, people talk about more like the mumble rap stuff, but it's to each his own. You know what I'm saying?
That trill rap or whatever they call that.
Right.
So, but you brought up something just a second ago. I actually watched Breaking and Electric Boogaloo this past week. It was on like one of the channels. I don't remember which channel.
Was that 1 and 2? I think it.
Yeah. It was 1 and 2. So Breaking, I think, was 1, and then Electric Boogaloo was the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about hip hop. That was a very mainstream, like it pushed it to the mainstream, right? Because in those movies you had, oh my God, my mind just went blank. Who were the that was back when they first started? Like,
you talking about Ozone and Turbo?
Well, those were the breakers. I'm talking about the hip hop artists, the rappers, the group.
Oh, like Force MDs and
Force
Crush
MDs,
Groove,
Crush Groove, So Crush Groove was the second, I think, or was that the first? I don't know, but anyway, there was a break-in, right? So, but like you had LL, young LL in that one, right? You know what I mean?
With the fisherman's hat and a
Yes,
rope,
sir. Yes, sir. That old Kango. That was
chest
a
naked, Kango in the rope, chest
yeah.
naked. Oh yeah.
I mean, he was rocking it. Like it was a different time. Like you actually knew what they were saying. Like it was important to enunciate your words. You know what I mean? Back then.
Yeah. And back then, man, it was really about the form, artists, their form, man, because back then it was about you put out a single, right, so that you can build a buzz, so that you can come out with your EP, and then eventually your album. Nowadays people don't do albums, man. They do a single, man, can get 10 million streams, and they're set for life, man. Where back in those days, man, it wasn't the the iHeart radios, and all these streaming platforms. It was if you didn't get on radio, I mean, you was basically selling tapes out of a trunk. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get people to hear it. So it's been terrific to sit back and watch hip hop, man, how it's grown. I think I was watching something on social media the other day, man, where LL, right, was speaking to what's the brother's name, man? He's got his own TV show, Sway in the Morning.
Okay.
And of course, you got Rock the Bells Radio, which is LL Cool J on Sirius XM, right? So for those people who don't know, that's who created that segment, Rock the Bell Radio. That's LL Cool J himself. Ladies love Cool J. And so Sway was like, "Yo, L, you've been on my show, man, like 20 times, but you've never like spit anything. You've never like freestyle." And LL was like, "Say less," right? So they threw a beat on there, man, and L just completely annihilated this thing, man. Like, like you would have thought that at this point in time, because he's a big movie star. He's a big producer, writer, and all that. And he don't have to rap for nothing. He's already made his millions and everything, rhyming and everything. But man, he came with something, man, and you have to check it out, man. He is LL Cool J. I mean, he's probably you could say he's a GOAT in his own perspective, you know what I'm saying? Right. But he has withstood the test of time for sure.
Well, you spoke about another thing, right? As far as, because we kind of touched on it when we was talking about breaking, but how the hip hop industry broke into film. Because you could think back to the Fat Boys doing with their movies, right? You know what I mean? When one of them, I think, was called Disorderlies or something like that, right? And they were first going to that buffet, and I mean they made fun of themselves, right? So you couldn't really make fun of them, right? That was kind of their style, kind of like Biz Markie, right? At that stage.
Right. Let's not forget our women too, man. You got MC Light, you got Queen Latifah, you got Lady Rage, you got Yo-Yo, you got I mean, it's so many, man. And that's what I love about hip hop, man, because hip hop, the culture in itself, man, is so vast. So you can't just say it's all men, because we definitely have a lot of women that have pioneered and laid the way for the Nicki Minaj's now, and the and City Girls, and what I'm saying, and all that stuff now, man. So
whoever.
Correct. So it's been a sprinkling of a lot of geographically, from, like I said, from the East Coast, West Coast, down South, Midwest, man, and it's all kind of everybody's kind of put their own flavor to it. So it's been really, really great to see, man, this thing grow to what it is, man, and to see now that here we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop, man, is incredible for sure.
Bro, so you talk about MC Light, right? So that's the first. I know there were female rappers prior to her, but that was the first one that I actually would listen to the whole tape, because it wasn't a CD yet. The tape cassette, right? I would listen to the whole tape that I had of MC Light as a Rock.
Roxanne Shante, Gangsta Boo, like
yeah. See,
yeah.
those were before, but I didn't like listen
Yeah.
to the whole. You did
Right.
I would listen to every song on MC Light's cassette because I'd be at, you know, those who know me know that I'm a PK, right? And I'm a PKK. So
Preacher's kid, y'all. Preacher's kid.
Yeah, the Preacher's kid. So I would, you know, we have homecomings, you know what I mean? In the Southern Illinois part, we, you know, go to further Southern Illinois and Kentucky, you know, Paducah area, and do homecomings where like all the churches in the region or whatever would come to one church, and it'd be hot as all, man. Like that was when I found out about the little fans and the you know, the seesaws out in and the little merry-go-round that had wood to get splinters. Boy, we survived some stuff back then. But you know, we'd go to church, but the younger ones we be clowning in church, so they'd make us really, you know, let us go outside, and I'd be out in the van because my dad and them had a van at the time, and that's what I'll be playing. MC Light out in the not in the church, but in the church grounds, right? You know what I mean? Be doing the MC Light joint, man, and just kind of having it rocking, man. So, but that was good times.
Yeah, I remember the days, man. Real quick, you know, when you used to ride around in the Metro, man, with the I don't know how many speakers you had in that thing, man, but that thing was loud.
I had three 15s that they were them punch boys.
Yeah, wasn't that the Magic? Was it Magic Mike or something back then?
That was the Magic Mike time, yeah.
When the bass was like super heavy and like, you know, like you sit in your car, man, and the music was primarily focused on bass, where you sit in the car, man, and once the beat dropped, like it make you lose your breath, man, because the bass is so heavy, you know. You just sitting there like, oh man, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Man, we used to see, Magic Mike. It didn't have no words. Like it would have like a little like DJ Khaled type thing, right? You know what I mean? They'd have their little mark on it, like their print, but it wouldn't have it like any words, right? So it wasn't no rap on it. It was just like straight for sound systems.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are hard hearing because of that time, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was hard with that, man. But
absolutely.
So it's time for our next break, bro. Before we get into this gun violence that we really need to talk about.
Yes, sir.
I can't let my screen all the way down because the sound will go off. I found out, so I have to. I'm gonna send you down and just close my camera. So go ahead, take us out, Kim.
Yes, sir. Stay tuned. Perspective 217.
Yo, SE chill, you put your spin on this. Yeah, huh? I can think back 10 years old, all the things that I went through. Who would've thought I would've made it this far? I struggle trying to walk in my shoes, but I keep my head on swivel. Won't get caught in the middle. Already knew life was a river. I know time ain't with it, so I'ma put it all on the line when it's time to deliver. Mama, I'ma make you proud. Wanna put you in that mission, gotta make you smile. Want that two-door coupe Ferrari, got you showing out. Taking trips and making plans is what it's all about. I remember when niggas was down with me. People show they true colors, that's how it be. I'ma stick to the grind, cause that's what I do. Calculate every step, cause that's how I move. If you play on both sides, better pick and choose. Keep conversations minimum. Do situations you live and learn. Papa told me be patient, I'll get my turn. I'm just trying to live it while I can. Ain't got time for shaking hands or even making friends. Tell them holla at me when I land. Yeah. Tell them holla at me when I come for everything, ain't no excuse. Ain't no talking with me, that's not what I do. Ain't no talking with me, that's not what I. Ain't no talking with me, that's not what I do. I can't get mad at things I can't control. Kept it pushing when they left me all alone. When I'm up, don't be calling me on my phone. myself. All the love I showed you niggas, that shit gone. Yeah. What you think I'm supposed to do with that? I can't fuck with niggas who gon' talk behind my back. I can't fuck with bitches who gon' try to hold me back. Always move with purpose, my big cousin. I remember when niggas was down with me. People show they true colors, that's how it be. I'ma stick to the grind, cause that's what I do. Calculate every step, cause that's how I move. If you play on both sides, better pick.
Yo, man.
We back.
Your Neff was spending, man. Welcome back to the Perspective 217. This your boy Kills.
And this your boy P. I forgot to say that at the beginning.
Yeah, we're back in this thing, man. So that was our break, man, with Young Nephew. Still doing this thing, man. Hey, music is great, man. Music is great, man. So where is he at right now as far as his upcoming project?
So he's put one out on Apple Music, and it's like a, what they call it, extended EP, right? He put one out. He's actually, things are starting to pick up, post COVID. Before COVID, he was like, the momentum was building, right? But when COVID hit, everything got shut down. Everything. So it went right, and now with the relocation and everything, trying to find, the movers and shakers and who does what, out in this region. And things are finally starting to kind of kick in. Like this past Monday, we were invited to this Castle Row Studios to do a New Music Monday. And Gorilla Zoe was actually performing there. And so Terrell had opportunity to chop it up with him. And then a couple of the other DJs and producers and things of that nature that was in that building, and some of the other artists that was performing that night. So things are kind of taking off. I know he's, for those who still listen to 105.5, he's currently on the drive, the 5 o'clock and that 9 or 10 o'clock joint that DJ Mondo still be putting it on. He
Power 102 Jams with a Z.
Yes.
Shout out to DJ Aaron.
Yeah. But this is 105.5, the one I'm talking about. The local one out that way. So he's still in that mix. But yeah, we are powered by Power 102 Jams with a Z. That's Power 102 Jams with a Z. That's our home host station. But like we got people, everywhere, right? So he but things are starting to pick up, right? He got a little young mentor that's about probably 8 years older than him that's doing some things, man. It's making it a little easier on me. I ain't got to be the runner all the time, right? Because he's an artist that's getting in.
People don't understand, man, that manager life, man. It sounds good until you in them shoes and you're trying to, artist development / hey, book these shows, hey, get the artists to the shows, hey, get them hyped to do the shows, get them paid, get them take care of life. And it's a lot when it comes to that manager now. But nowadays, man, things are so I guess just internet savvy nowadays, man. You can be your own manager, producer, and everything, man, with the click of a button now. So, man, things are. I would say it's a lot easier now to saying the kind of
it's easier to get your stuff out there.
Correct.
It's harder now to filter through all the stuff
because it's a lot of it. There's a lot of it coming every day. Absolutely.
And what makes you different, right? So, but yeah, so that's what he's on, man. I mean, he's still progressing. Happy to see that. And that's
a good look. Keep it pushing, nephew. Keep it pushing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Keep it pushing. So
okay. As of last Friday, talking about the gun violence, we at Choctaw, Raindrops. You're right. You know what I mean? One of them schools out here, in Dale City, they were playing each other and a football game, right? High school. And during the football game, while the kids were on the field, running plays like the actual game, pop, 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 pop.
And that wasn't the sound of a beat either. That was That was somebody being active. So
yeah, that was some gun activity, some gunplay. Somebody was pulling the trigger or something at this school, and a 16-year-old was killed at this game by the actual young man from later on. It came out that the young man was from Midwest City, from another school. And they got the person. It was another teenager. They got the person who did it, but I don't know much about that person as of right now.
Now let's just pause right there. So here's the setting again for those listeners that are just now tuning in and has been rocking with us from the beginning. We're talking about a youth football game, right?
Mm-hmm.
After school, volunteer extracurricular activity, right? A football game, a sporting event where you should be able to come out, support your family, friends, and loved ones to see how they perform in this sporting event.
Right.
And some people found that it would be entertaining or, worthwhile to come out and bring some guns to a football game. Now, I know this is not the only place, and again, here at the Perspective 217, these are our opinions. We're not speaking for anybody. No particular local area or anything like that. Although we have been around and lived around quite a bit, but for someone to come out with the intent to harm someone at a youth sporting event, what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing?
Yeah. It's sad, man, that if it was an isolated event, you could say, okay, man, that's a messed up situation. But that actual last weekend and the week before leading up, there was a mass shooting in was it Carolina?
I think it was a shooting on North Carolina's college campus.
And then there was also somebody cutting the grass. There was also a situation where we were just talking about somewhere in Florida. What was it?
Yeah, I forgot. I want to say Jacksonville, Florida, where a individual went in with an AR rifle, and I believe he had a pistol as well too. And he went in and strategically, because he took it upon himself to go arm himself with a vest. He drove to this particular location.
I think it was a Family Dollar or something, right? Wasn't it General Dollar?
I think it was a Dollar General or something like that.
Right.
But before that, he actually pulled up to a HBCU university and was seen putting on his vest, and just by the experience and the training, I guess, of the security officer, and I believe he may be a sergeant or a lieutenant at the time or something. He was able to address this individual and tell him, hey, you need to exit our campus immediately. And so this gunman leaves their location, in a block or two or three away. He winds up following this Dollar General and starts picking off innocent random people
who happen to be a certain demographic.
Correct.
Yeah, that's important, because it wasn't just like a random shooting. He was, like you said, picking and choosing who he wanted to shoot.
Correct.
And cause great bodily harm and kill. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about this gun violence, Man, since we started, Kel, back in 2017, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was happening before that, but it was like a major issue.
Yeah, if they don't believe us, man, they can go check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, we
It's-
YouTube
Proof
and
is in the pudding. You know,
it's been a journey, man, and it's like I think the same principles apply. Like we have to. They need to know their worth. Your life is more important than throwing it away over some feelings, right? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know why this. I'm gonna stick with the Tampa joint for a minute. The Tampa. I don't know why this person chose to do this, right? You know what I mean? I don't know why he had so much hate in his heart to go and commit such heinous acts. But clearly he didn't value his own life because he was willing to throw it away. What can we do as a society? And I know there's no easy answer to this, right? We used to say there's no silver bullet to which is kind of a bad thing when we talk about gun violence, but you know what I mean? There's no one way that we're going to be able to fix this. There's nothing that we can do and just flip a switch and make this change. But what can we do as a society, from your perspective, to put a dent in this violence?
I think first of all, it has to be addressed in it's got to be some kind of legislative efforts, man. I mean, first of all, there's too many guns on the street. Like I don't care how much hunting you do. I don't care how much shooting for sports you do. There's too many guns on the street. Period. And so, you know, that's one problem. Too many guns on the streets that have been manufactured and put out here for people to to go and purchase. Now I get it. You know, if I'm a businessman and you know I own a specific, I'm a vendor and I sell a specific type of firearm. Sure, I want to sell as many of these that I got in the trunk and in the warehouse and whatever. I get that, but at the same time, when are we going to get to the point where, hey, man, am I being liable for this? Because you know I'm making $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 off this, but there are people dying. Right. And so people, I'll say this, the critics, the news analysts and the powers that be, you know, they always try to loop this in as far as it's a mental illness issue. Well, no, it's not a mental illness issue, but because there's no reason why an AR rifle is needed on the street. I mean, we have amongst us 30 plus years of law enforcement experience between us, and I'm sorry, and then probably another 10 or 15 in the military. Unless you're doing something on that level, you know, in that realm, there's no reason for that type of weapon to be out on the street because we're talking about 30 rounds in a matter of seconds. And people don't understand that, you know, that stuff don't care about drywall.
Right.
It doesn't care about doors. It doesn't care about car doors. It doesn't care about kids. It doesn't care about, you know, the youth, elderly. It doesn't care about those rounds. Don't care about anything because those weapons were made for war. Period. So why are they on our streets? Why are they in our neighborhoods? Why are they in our subdivisions? And so we have to take a real serious stance on this because, you know, until the top gets pissed off about this, then the middle and the bottom are not going to be able to do anything. And the fact of the matter is, there's no one that has the guts to say, enough is enough. How many kids have to die in these school shootings? We they're still kind of getting past the whole Texas situation where, those kids were trapped inside the schools.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you this: it's not over.
Right.
That's not going to be the last. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the last school shooting that we see in 2023. I guarantee you that.
Right.
I guarantee you that. I mean, because now this thing has gone from elementary school to college now. How many college shootings have we had just this year alone?
Right.
And we're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in. So mark what I say.
College campuses are not as secure as the elementary schools and the even the high schools, right? Because you unless it's after hours, the buildings are open.
Well, think about it. I mean, on some of these college campuses, man, you have anywhere from 5,000 kids to 70,000, 80,000 kids.
Right.
Like, how do you combat? How do you protect that? As security or law enforcement. When you have 50, 60,000 kids that at some given point are on the campus. It's tough, man. It's tough, but it has to start at the top, and then from there, it's we the people have to be vigilant and be aware of our surroundings because. And I'm not saying this is a foolproof thing, but at the same time, if you pull up at the grocery store and you see some things that just doesn't look good, or somebody walking around in a trench coat, or they're putting on this artillery military style equipment, that's a problem. If you going in to buy grapes, but they're coming in with a helmet on and a mask and a vest on, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to go buy grapes either. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be aware of your surroundings. Because we've seen it. It happens in the movies. It's happened at schools. It's happening. In any place that you can think of, there's been shooting. So we have to be more aware of our surroundings.
So what do you think about? Because it was a big thing like a year ago or so, arming the teachers. You knew where I was going. Arming the teachers, putting guns in the classrooms already, right?
Absolutely not.
I look at it like this, right? When I first, let's say Urbana, right? When I first started at Urbana, if there was a fight that broke out at the Canopy Club, which was a large venue there, we did not go in at low numbers to try to break it up. And initially I was like, well, why? You know what I mean? You want to get, I want to get.
You want to get thrown out like Will Smith in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at his uncle's house?
Right. Well, no, but my mindset was, man, if I'm there, let me go on and try to, hey, get back thinking, somebody will listen. But the important part, like Anthony, who was my sergeant at the time, and my FTO, because I had just left Wichita, which was a different world, was like, if there's no guns, they didn't let no guns in there. You going in where there's 30 people fighting or more, you just introduced a gun. Right? So, because you have a gun on you, right? Even if you are the modern day Bruce Leroy,
right?
And you got the glow. 30 people it's going, you know what I mean? That's going to be some work, right? I mean, you go, there ain't that much glowing,
no,
right?
Sir. No, sir.
And somebody's going to eventually have access to your gun. Even if it's in the holster, if it's in your hand, somebody's going to get access to it, right? And so it made sense to me when he explained it to me in that manner. Don't introduce a gun to the situation, right? And that's the way I look at these school shootings, right? Or putting guns in the classrooms with the teachers,
Mhm.
because now you've introduced a gun where it may not have been. If you're able to keep the guns out, now you got guns in the building.
Yeah.
What if they're not very proficient with managing that weapon?
Mhm.
What if they're have all the credentials to have it, but aren't emotionally sound
Mhm.
to deal with that stressful situation when little Timmy, little Trayvon is getting upset and rowdy, and they had a bad day because they dog, pooped on they walkway out,
Mhm.
and they grab the gun because they feel threatened.
Well,
You know,
I'll tell you this, bro. I'll make it even more simplified for you. I one up you.
mhm,
How about you take your sons or son
mhm,
or even your wife, on a good day, you take your wife out to a professional sporting event,
mm,
right?
mm,
A
mhm,
professional sport event. We're talking about where, you know, millions and millions of dollars are being invested in the stadium. The stadium is probably worth, 20-30 million dollars, and then they're generating 20-30 million dollars. Ticket sales of 20-30 million dollars. You take your family member or loved one or significant other or whatever to a sporting event, and you get shot in that stadium. There's nobody pooping on your lawn.
right,
There's no crazy mental illness. You didn't get into an argument or anything. You are sitting in your designated seat that you paid for,
right.
and you get shot in the leg. Right?
Didn't it just happen in
Two people.
White
Absolutely. Just happened. This just happened in Chicago White Sox. Now listen, I'm not a Chicago White Sox representative. I'm not from Chicago, and I'm not deeming anything. But what I'm saying to you is this: how is it if you can go to a sporting event, right? And the last time I checked, they have all kind of security clearance and everything like that, right? So you should be safeguarded, and that should be the last thing you should be worried about is getting shot at any kind of baseball game, because you should be worried about how many of them damn beers you're gonna buy for $10. That's what you really should be worried about, because
right.
everything in that stadium is $10+.
10 plus.
10 plus. But you actually get shot. Not one person, but two people get shot at a baseball game. What are we doing? What are we doing?
We're too afraid to offend somebody.
So when is enough going to be enough, though? Is it going to be? Is it going to be? Miss Teresa's daughter? Is it going to be Mr. Brown's son? When is enough going to be enough? Because you can't go to a professional sporting event. You can't go to the movies. Your kids can't get educated. You can't go driving. Just the other day, there was a shootout on the expressway. So you can't even drive to and from your house because people are shooting on the expressway. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Man, it's a situation, Kel, where we're still. I think we're just in a bad place right now. I don't really know. Like what are we doing? I don't think we're doing. We're too concerned with offending and hurting people. Oh well, you can't tell them they can't have a gun, or you can't, you don't want to pat them down because it makes them feel violated, right? When they coming into a building, or I mean, it's just those type of things, man. I think we've went way too far. I'm all about doing and saying the right thing, right? Don't intentionally try to offend someone.
Mhm.
I'm all about that. But you still have to have sense, right? You can't just because somebody don't want to be touched, don't go to the game. Right? You know what I mean? Or wear something that there's no way you can have anything on you, right? You know what I mean? And I don't want to see it, but like a biker suit, right? You know what I mean? Like the spandex joint that the whole body. I don't really want to see it, but I mean something like that where there's no way you can have anything on you, right? Then you ain't got to be touched. All you got to do is do a run around. But
yeah,
we did say that this hour's gonna go by fast, right?
It did.
And this joke is over, man. And so this is a topic that I think
How much longer can we go here? I got a last topic that I want to just touch briefly. Can we squeeze another 5-6 minutes?
Yeah, let's go and get it in. Where we going?
So I guess we'll conclude with the gun violence, man. It's got to be an all-encompass effort from the top to the bottom in order for us to make some segue. First, we got to there's too many guns on the streets, period.
Agreed.
And there has to be some kind of regulations. Nobody is enforcing the world to come and take your guns out of your house. Nobody's saying any of that. We're just saying there's too many war type weapons that are being used for these mass shootings, period. Nobody's trying to come and take your guns, but damn it, if warlike guns are being used in the urban areas, we need to address that immediately, period. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
We'll leave that at that. But
I disagree.
To conclude with our last topic, this week has actually been another historical moment.
Oh, yes.
Where this is the 60th anniversary for the powerful "I Have a Dream" speech by Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
Now it's funny because we mentioned a mass shooter down in Florida, down in Tallahassee. This is the same exact day that the ceremony was being was being conducted,
right,
in Washington,
right.
In this historical location where Dr. King had his "I Have a Dream" speech that has stayed with us over these 60 years and counting. And so I asked that because of this. 60 years later, have we progressed? Or are we taking steps back? I'll leave you the floor, brother.
That is a have we progressed? I think that is a relative question. Like, because I think certain areas have gotten better. But when we create soft times, we create soft people. And soft people are the ones that they keep blaming for being mentally ill when they have no history of really being mentally ill, right? You know what I mean? It's they don't want to. They don't want to lose. And I'm talking about on our side, right? You know what I mean? I'm talking about, in these streets, right? They don't want to lose. I'm not talking about necessarily the mass shooters now, because those traditionally don't look like us. I mean, we've had a few, but let's be real about this. They don't traditionally look like us. So we're harming ourselves at an alarming rate over feelings, over you disrespected me by looking my way too long. So in that aspect, I think we've went the other direction. But as far as like access, I think we've definitely improved. The atmosphere has improved, but there's still all those people there that's trying to remind you that they feel that you don't belong. But they can't sick the dog on you without consequence now. So it's kind of, so I think it's a little bit of both.
I definitely agree with you, brother. It's we have, and I want to be very strategic here. My grandmother, right, is alive, right? I'm blessed to have my grandma here. I call her Granny May, right? And I remember as a shorty, a youth, a little dude. I remember her and my grandfather, right? St. Louis Avenue, 4800 block. She get up, she go to work. My grandfather get up, go to work, right? And on these occasions, my grandfather and my grandmother would tell me these stories that they had to live through when they were my age, right? When things weren't accessible,
Right.
when they weren't allowed in certain or most locations and places because they weren't allowed, right? My mother, who is still alive, has told me stories, as well as my aunts and uncles have told me stories about when they were in their youth, at the age that they were talking to me about the things that they've experienced and lived through.
Right.
Right. And now here I am, an OG. And now I have to tell my kids about the experiences and times that not only did I live through, but that their grandmother lived through.
Right.
Right. And that their great grandmother lived through. Here still in 2023. When do we get to a point where we all fight for the same cause? We're not asking for more. We damn sure ain't asking for less. We just want to be equal. That's it. We want to be able to walk around and raise our kids and make something of our lives, and that's it. The American dream. When do we get that freedom to be able to do that? That's all I'm saying.
Boy, you just brought up a whole bunch of things that would take us another 50 minutes to. You asked when. You know, I don't think it'd be in our lifetime if it happens at all, because of the societal structure. There's always going to be those, this is just my perspective on it, there's always going to be those that want to feel like they're in power. And in order to do that, for them, somebody else has to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Less than, but it's like be a subordinate. You know, if you're looking at it from a work standpoint, right? I mean, but they have to feel like they're superior to the next person. And as it stands right now, you know, I used to say it was money. I used to think it was money. But those who even have money are still handcuffed because they get to talking too much. They get to taxing that money, right? You know what I mean? That they value so much because they think that money gives them power. It gives them access.
Yeah. But
the real ones who have power, we never hear about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it would have to be a change of the guard. But even if that occurred, Kale, my fear is, let's say it flipped. I think we, the ones who are in charge on this flip side, will be the exact same way.
Mm.
I honestly believe. I think our structure is set up to have haves and have-nots.
Mm-hmm. The systemic.
And the have is not just money, right? The have is access. The have is knowledge. The have is, you know, all that.
Right.
Have not. The not is shit. Everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I mean, grand scheme of things, man. We have definitely come. We have definitely made some leaps, but we can definitely do better as a nation.
Yes.
You know, as a whole. We definitely can do it. We can definitely do it better, man. I mean, if this is supposed to be the greatest country, you know what I'm saying? Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, you know, trying to argue and fight and, you know, and divide people and, you know, and, you know, let's not fall into the spewing of, you know, hate your neighbors. You're supposed to love thy neighbors, right?
Right.
You're supposed to love thy neighbors, and because you look different, or you know, you come from a different background, or your skin color is different, or your sexual orientation is different, or whatever it is, that shouldn't you know, control this, because at the end of the day, you know, you are an individual. That person is an individual. You know, step out of all that, whatever you've been listening to, whatever you've been reading, whatever, you know, unfortunately you've grown up with, you know, generation to generation that's been passed on to you. Step out of that, you know, empty that cup, man. Pour that cup out, man, and just see people for who they are, right? Get an opportunity, take a chance on people learning who they are as far as their character and their heart, instead of what they look like. Stop judging people by their appearance.
Okay, Kel. On that note, bro, we'll dive into it, man. That topic, I think we need to let's make that the focal point next Thursday, just to kind of dive a little deeper into it. How far have we come, and has it been more lateral, or have we actually made progress? Right? Does it just look different?
Right.
We have to do it for our little ones, right? You know what I mean? Because you got a young baby. Mine are younger, but they is younger than me. They grown. You know what I mean? But Lord willing, they have kids. You know, I have grandkids. Then their kids can have kids. You know, and all that stuff, man. And we got to do it for them, man. We got to fight and figure this out, right?
Facts.
Instead of just, you know, 60 years later saying, okay, we're just good with it. Now, I did say, I want to start over into something else. I did say that I believe that even if the other power, I just think we got to change the system. The system has
that's for sure.
Right. You know, not necessarily who's in power.
Right. Because the systems are outdated. Like, there is the systems, the laws, the verbiage, all of that is outdated. This is 2023. That doesn't apply. Because if you actually look at the systems and the Constitution and all that, it's very outdated. And there's no way that nothing is going to change until that is a starting point.
Right. On that one, y'all, it's been the Perspective 217. We back after months of hiatus. but we back.
Shouts out to beer culture.
Yes, indeed. Beer
Shouts
culture.
out to Cough.
Seeing Cough.
Connoisseur of finer things.
You know, we definitely gotta and all the young people that's trying to make a difference out there, whether you're young, old, or indifferent. But this is the Perspective 217. We're going to close out with the little ones, but we'll be off screen and we're out.
The lines have been drawn. The seeds have been planted. Ooh, yeah. There are so many laws. Did we forget them? I think we did, but we just won't admit it. We forgot this is dedicated to the little ones. Seeds that have been lost along the way. From death to life, from the cradle to the grave. This song is for the little one. Baptized in hate cannot be the fate of man. Told you yes, that love it has a plan. We just follow. Yesterday is gone, but tomorrow's still to come. You know that fate is in your hand. So I'm saying that this is dedicated to the little one. A seed that has been lost along the way. From death to life, from the cradle to the grave. Ooh, yeah. This is dedicated to the little one. Oh, they need a chance to choose. So they need a chance to choose. Hope for the future.